The person you are today may not be able to reach your dream life. That's not an insult. That's a fact. Your current identity was built for your current circumstances. It got you here. But here is not where you want to be. Your habits don't align with your goals. Your beliefs don't support your vision. Your daily behaviors are designed to maintain who you've always been, not to create who you need to become. Most people try to reach their dreams while staying the same. They try to change their results while keeping their identity intact. It doesn't work. Real transformation requires destruction. It requires deliberately dismantling the old version of yourself and rebuilding from zero. Today, I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that. Chapter 1. You must accept that your current self is your ceiling. Listen to me carefully. The life you have right now is not an accident. It's not bad luck. It's not a circumstance. It's the perfect result of who you believe you are. That's hard to hear, but it's the truth you must accept before anything can change. Your results are a direct reflection of your identity. Not your intelligence. Not your circumstances. Not your opportunities. Your identity. The person you believe yourself to be is producing exactly the life you're living right now. You earn what you believe you deserve. You attract the relationships you believe you're worthy of. You achieve what you believe is possible for someone like you. Everything in your life is aligned with who you think you are. Think about this for a moment. Why do some people earn $100,000 and feel completely terrified at that number? Because their identity doesn't support earning more. Their minds have a ceiling. They believe people like them earn around 100,000. So they hit that number, and something inside them sabotages it. They lose the client. They miss the opportunity. They make a bad decision. They unconsciously destroy what they've built because it contradicts their identity. They believe they don't deserve more. So the universe seems to agree. The same is true with relationships. A person who believes they're unlovable will push away genuine love when it arrives. They'll find flaws in the perfect partner. They'll create distance. They'll self-destruct the relationship because it contradicts their deepest belief about themselves. They don't deserve to be loved. So they make sure they're right. Your income aligns with your identity. Your relationships align with your identity. Your health aligns with your identity. Your confidence aligns with your identity. Everything in your life is a reflection of who you genuinely believe you are at your core. Not the person you pretend to be. Not the person you tell people you are. The person you actually believe you are when no one is watching. Here's what most people don't understand. The person you are today can only produce the life you have today. Period. That's the ceiling. Your current identity is not the limit. It's the floor. Everything below it is impossible. You cannot rise higher than your identity allows. No amount of motivation can change that. No amount of willpower. No amount of affirmations or vision boards, or goal setting. You can't think your way past your identity. You can't work past it. You can't fake your way past it. Most people try to improve. They think that if they just add better habits to their current self, they'll break through. They add exercise to a broken foundation. They add a side hustle to a limited mindset. They add better communication skills to a person who fundamentally believes they're unworthy. Nothing changes. The ceiling remains exactly where it was. They get slightly better at being who they've always been, but they never become someone new. That's the tragedy. That's why people work so hard and make minimal progress. They're trying to improve themselves without realizing their current self cannot improve beyond a certain point. There is a ceiling. And that ceiling is not negotiable unless you change the identity that created it. Let me be direct with you about something. You cannot outgrow your identity by improving it. You must replace it entirely. That's the key. Not betterment. Replacement. Not fixing yourself. Rebuilding yourself. This is actually good news because it means you don't have to fix what's broken. You don't have to spend years understanding your trauma or your wounds or your limitations. You just need to demolish the old model and build a new one. You're not broken. You don't have a flaw that needs repair. You're operating with an expired blueprint. The version of you that was built years ago served a purpose. It kept you safe. It helped you fit in. It helped you survive. But you don't need survival anymore. You need growth. The old model is perfect for where you've been, but it's useless for where you're going. You have permission to start over completely. Not to fix the old you. To demolish the old you and build someone new. That's not arrogance. That's recognition. You've outgrown yourself. The person you were is too small for the person you're trying to become. You don't have a flaw. You have an expired blueprint. And right now, we're going to understand exactly what that blueprint looks like. Chapter 2: The Architecture of Your Current Identity. Your identity isn't a single thing. It's a system. 3 interlocking pillars that reinforce each other and keep you exactly where you are. Understand these 3 pillars, and you understand why you stay trapped. Change all 3 simultaneously, and you become unstoppable. The first pillar is beliefs. The deepest level. The foundation of everything. These are the beliefs you hold about who you are and what's possible for you. Not the beliefs you tell people you have. The ones you actually hold when you're alone. People like me don't succeed. I'm not naturally talented. I'm not smart enough. Successful people are different than me. I'm too old. I'm too damaged. I don't deserve good things. These aren't universal truths. They're downloaded beliefs. Someone installed them in you years ago. Your parents installed some of them. The world installed others. Your environment installed others. You absorbed the messaging around you, and you called it truth. You looked at the world, saw successful people, and drew a conclusion. Those people are different than me. They were born different. They had advantages I didn't have. Success is not for people like me. That conclusion became a belief. And that belief has been running your life ever since. The second pillar is habits. Your daily actions. The things you do automatically without thinking. These habits are not random. They're expressions of your beliefs. You wake up, check your phone, complain about your circumstances, consume entertainment, and go to bed. You repeat this every single day because it's what people like you do. Your habits are loyal to your identity. A person who believes they're not disciplined doesn't exercise. A person who believes they're not smart doesn't read. A person who believes they're not worthy doesn't put themselves out there. These aren't character flaws. These are identity-aligned behaviors. Your habits reinforce your beliefs, and your beliefs reinforce your habits. They're a closed loop. The third pillar is stories. The narratives you tell about why you're limited. These are the explanations you give for why your life is the way it is. My family never had money, so I can't either. I grew up poor, so success is harder for me. I don't have the right education. I'm too introverted. Bad things always happen to me. These stories feel like history. They feel like facts. But they're just narratives. They're just the way you've chosen to interpret your circumstances. These 3 pillars work together in a system of mutual reinforcement. Your belief about who you are drives your daily habits. Your daily habits produce results that confirm your beliefs. The results become part of the story you tell about your limitations. And the story reinforces the belief. It's a closed loop. Change one pillar and the other 2 resist. They pull you back toward equilibrium. They want to maintain the system. This is why people fail at change. They try to modify one pillar while leaving the others intact. They add better habits while keeping the same beliefs. The beliefs sabotage the habits. They try to change their beliefs while maintaining the same daily actions. The actions reinforce the old beliefs. They try to rewrite their stories while acting out the old patterns. The patterns keep proving the old story true. You need to attack the entire system simultaneously. All 3 pillars must be demolished at the same time. That's what makes transformation actually work. That's what makes it stick. You're not trying to be a slightly better version of who you've always been. You're rebuilding the entire architecture. Your beliefs are not the truth. They're just beliefs. Your habits are not character. They're just behaviors. Your stories are not history. They're just narratives. All three can be changed, but they must be changed together. That's the key. You must reconstruct all three pillars at once. Now that you understand the system that's keeping you trapped, we need to get real about the cost of staying inside it. Chapter 3: The cost of staying exactly who you are. Here's what you need to understand. Staying the same is not free. It costs you everything. It costs you your future. It costs you your potential. It costs you the life you could have lived. And you need to feel the weight of that cost right now before you decide whether transformation is worth it. The person you are today has a fixed capacity, a ceiling. You cannot earn more than a certain amount with your current identity. You've probably felt it. You earn a little extra, and something inside you sabotages it. You lose the client. You make a poor decision. You spend the money on something you don't need. You burn out. The money disappears. That's not an accident. That's your identity ceiling. Your belief about what people like you deserve produces exactly that result. The same is true with relationships. You cannot build deeper connections than your current identity allows. If you believe you're fundamentally unlovable, you will push away love. You will find flaws in perfect people. You will create distance even from people who genuinely care about you. Your belief that you don't deserve a deep connection will produce exactly that result. Loneliness. Isolation. A series of shallow relationships that never become what you actually want. That's not bad luck. That's your identity manifesting. Your health has a ceiling. Your career has a ceiling. Your impact has a ceiling. Your peace has a ceiling. There is a fixed limit on what each area of your life can produce. And that limit is set by who you believe you are. But here's what really costs you. Every day you remain the same, you're not just staying still. You're falling behind. You're getting older. You're accumulating years but not growth. You're accumulating experiences but not wisdom. You're moving through time while the gap between who you are and who you could be gets wider. The older you get without transforming, the more regret accumulates. The more you feel the cost. Imagine looking back at your life in 20 years and realizing you spent 2 decades as the same person. You had the same beliefs. You made the same mistakes. You hit the same ceiling over and over. You had the same conversations with yourself. You wanted to change, but you never actually did. You understood the problem, but you never solved it. That's the cost. That's what waiting costs you. There's something else you need to understand. Your dream life requires a different person to sustain it. If you achieved everything you wanted tomorrow while maintaining your current identity, you would destroy it. You would sabotage it. You would find a way to lose it. Why? Because it contradicts who you believe you are. A person who doesn't believe they deserve money cannot keep money. They'll find ways to spend it. They'll invest it badly. They'll give it away. They'll lose it. A person who doesn't believe they deserve love cannot sustain a loving relationship. They'll create drama. They'll push the person away. They'll self-destruct the connection. A person who doesn't believe they're capable of handling responsibility cannot handle responsibility. They'll fail. They'll panic. They'll run. So your goal isn't just to achieve something. It's to become someone who naturally maintains what they achieve. You must become the person before you can keep the prize. That's the key. Not the achievement. The transformation. The person who can sustain it. That person doesn't exist yet. You need to build them. You need to demolish who you are right now and reconstruct someone completely new. Someone whose beliefs support abundance. Someone whose habits produce success. Someone whose story celebrates their power instead of explaining their limitation. The cost of staying exactly who you are is your entire future. The cost of transformation is everything you think you know about yourself. You have a choice. Keep everything familiar and lose everything you want. Or lose everything familiar and gain everything you want. That's the actual trade. That's what you're deciding right now. You understand the cost now. You understand what staying the same actually costs you. Now we need to identify exactly what needs to be destroyed. Chapter 4. The foundation you must destroy first. You cannot destroy what you cannot see. This is crucial. Most people stay trapped because they never get honest about what's actually holding them back. They have a vague awareness that something is wrong, but they don't know what. So they can't address it. You need to make the invisible visible. You need to get specific about what you're actually destroying. Start here. What are the 3 to 5 core beliefs you hold about yourself? Not the beliefs you think you should have. The ones you actually have. The ones you defend. The ones that feel unchallengeable. Write them down. Spend time with this. Don't rush it. Maybe your core belief is, "I'm not smart enough." Every major decision in your life might be filtered through that belief. You avoid opportunities because they require intelligence. You don't speak up in meetings because you believe you don't have anything valuable to say. You study obsessively for tests because deep down you believe you're not naturally capable. That single belief shapes your entire existence. Maybe your core belief is, "I'm not worthy of success." Everything you achieve, you diminish. You don't celebrate wins. You immediately focus on what didn't work. You feel like a fraud when people compliment you. You don't believe you deserve the good things in your life. So you self-sabotage them. Maybe your core belief is, "People don't like the real me." So you create a false version. You carefully curate what you show the world. You hide your actual thoughts and feelings. You perform. You people please. You abandon yourself in an effort to earn approval. You believe that if people saw the real you, they'd leave. So you never let them see. These core beliefs are the foundation. Everything else is built on them. Your habits, your choices, your relationships, your career decisions. All of it flows from these core beliefs. That's why you need to identify them. You cannot demolish a foundation you cannot name. Once you've identified your beliefs, look at your daily habits. How are these beliefs showing up in your behavior? If you believe you're not smart enough, what are you not doing? Probably not reading. Probably not learning. Probably not trying difficult things. Probably seeking out easy wins instead of challenging yourself. That's the habit of expressing the belief. If you believe you're not worthy of success, how are you sabotaging yourself? Probably not finishing projects. Probably not asking for raises. Probably not networking. Probably playing small. Probably accepting less than you want. That's the habit of expressing the belief. Your habits are not random. They are perfect expressions of your core beliefs. They're votes for who you believe you are. Every single day, your habits say yes to that belief and no to something else. You do this automatically, without awareness, without choosing. Then look at the stories you tell. What narrative explains why you're limited? My family was poor, so I can't be rich. I'm too introverted to be successful. I'm too old to start over. I'm damaged from my past. These stories feel like history, but they're just narratives. They're just the way you've chosen to interpret what happened to you. Here's what you need to understand. You cannot change what you don't acknowledge. You cannot destroy a belief you're not willing to admit you have. You cannot interrupt a habit you don't see yourself doing. You cannot challenge a story you haven't told yourself you're telling. So this week, get honest. Write down your core beliefs. Write down your daily habits. Write down your limiting stories. Make yourself see it. Look at it directly. Don't hide from it. Don't soften it. See exactly what you've been operating from. This clarity is the first step toward demolition. Once you identify the foundation that needs to be destroyed, you can begin dismantling it. You can begin rebuilding. But you must see it first. That's the key. Visibility precedes demolition. You've identified what needs to go. Now let's talk about how to begin taking it apart. Chapter 5. The destruction phase begins. Most people want to jump directly to building the new version of themselves. They want to skip the destruction phase. Don't do that. The destruction phase is not optional. It's the foundation for everything that comes next. You cannot build a new house on top of the rubble from the old one. You must clear the ground completely first. The destruction phase begins with consciousness, seeing what you've been unconscious about. For the next 7 days, I want you to simply observe. Don't try to change anything. Just watch. Pay attention. Be a scientist studying your own behavior. Notice when you're making choices based on your old identity. Notice when you're staying small because it feels safe. Notice when you're defending your limitations. Notice when you make a decision and immediately sabotage it. Notice when an opportunity shows up and you find reasons to reject it. Notice when someone gives you a compliment and you diminish it. Notice when you're performing instead of being authentic. Document it. Write it down. You'll be shocked at how often your old identity is running the show without your permission. This observation alone is powerful, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You realize you're choosing to stay the same. And if you're choosing it, that means you can choose differently. Observation is the beginning of liberation. You cannot change what you refuse to see. So start seeing. After observation comes something harder. You must consciously reject your old identity. Not in a self-hating way. Not with judgment or shame. But with clarity. You must look at who you've been and consciously say no to it. Say it out loud. That version of me was necessary once. That version kept me safe. That version was useful for my survival. But I'm not that person anymore. I'm not that person because I've seen that person. I've watched that person operate. And I'm making a conscious choice to stop being them. This rejection is active. It's not passive hoping that things will be different. It's taking a firm stance. That person's beliefs don't run my life anymore. That person's habits don't define my days anymore. That person's stories don't explain my limitations anymore. You're literally firing your old identity. You're giving notice that its services are no longer required. Here's what's important. This rejection creates internal resistance. Your mind will fight it. You've been the same person for years. Your nervous system is familiar with that person. That person is predictable. That person is safe in a weird way. Changing feels dangerous. You'll have thoughts like, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm not that limited. Maybe I should just work with what I have. These thoughts are the old identity trying to preserve itself. It doesn't want to die. Expect the resistance. It means you're actually changing. Now here's the part that makes this real. You need a symbolic break. Something concrete that marks the end of the old version and the beginning of the new one. This is not magical thinking. It's neurology. Your subconscious mind responds to ritual and symbol. You need to create a moment that your mind can point to and say, that was the day everything changed. Write a letter to your former self. Be specific. Be direct. Tell that version of you exactly what you're rejecting and why. Tell them what you've learned. Tell them what they taught you. Tell them that you love them for protecting you. But tell them that you're letting them go. Then burn the letter. Or tear it up. Do something physical that marks the end. Make it real. Or pick a specific date and declare it your rebirth day. Before that day, you were one person. After that day, you're someone different. Make that shift clear in your mind. Change your environment. Move your furniture. Get a new outfit. Something that says, I'm starting over. Your nervous system needs to register that something has changed. You don't need to think your way into the new identity. You need to act your way into it. The destruction phase is not destruction without purpose. It's clearing ground so you can build something real. It's dismantling the false so you can construct the true. It's dying so you can be reborn. You've begun the destruction. Now you need to understand the belief system that's been holding you captive. Chapter 6: Dismantling the Belief System. Your limiting beliefs are the operating system of your mind. They run in the background. They filter what you see. They determine what feels possible. Until you change these beliefs, nothing else changes. You can have all the habits in the world, but if the belief underneath doesn't support them, they won't stick. Here's what people get wrong about beliefs. They think you change them by arguing with them. You believe, I'm not smart enough. So you tell yourself, I am smart enough. You try to convince yourself the belief isn't true. This doesn't work. Both beliefs stay in your mind, battling each other. And the old belief usually wins because it's been reinforced for years. You cannot erase a belief. You cannot argue your way past it. You must replace it. You must consciously install a new belief where the old one lived. This feels false at first. That's normal. You're not trying to believe the new belief yet. You're just installing it like software. With repetition, the new belief will begin to feel more true. For every limiting belief, create an expansive replacement. If your belief is I'm not smart enough, replace it with I'm capable of learning anything I choose to learn. If your belief is success is not for people like me, replace it with success is available to anyone committed to building it. If your belief is I don't deserve good things, replace it with I'm worthy of abundance and love. These new beliefs should feel true even if they don't yet feel real. They should be rooted in observable reality. You've learned things. You've grown. You've overcome challenges. You are capable of learning. You've been wrong before and recovered. You can be wrong again and recover. These aren't lies. They're aspects of truth you're emphasizing. Now here's the critical part. Your brain is a belief confirmation machine. Once you install a belief, your brain filters reality to confirm it. If you believe you're unsuccessful, you'll notice all evidence of failure and ignore evidence of success. You'll attribute your wins to luck and your losses to incompetence. Your brain will work overtime to prove you right. So you must deliberately gather evidence for your new belief. Every single day, find one piece of evidence that your new belief is true. You're capable of learning. Find one thing you learned today. You're moving toward your goals. Notice one action you took in that direction. You're worthy of good things. Acknowledge one good thing that happened or that you did for yourself. This evidence gathering rewires your brain. It starts the neural pathway for the new belief. It creates a competition between the old belief and the new one. And if you feed the new belief evidence consistently, the new one wins. But here's what you need to know. When you start installing new beliefs, you'll experience intense resistance. You'll feel like a fraud. You'll want to go back to what's familiar. Your old identity will fight to survive. It will scream at you that the new beliefs are lies. That you're delusional. That you're being unrealistic. This resistance is not a sign you're doing it wrong. It's a sign you're doing it right. You're at the edge of transformation. You're at the place where the old self and the new self collide. Expect this resistance. Welcome it. It means you're actually changing. Keep installing the new beliefs anyway. Keep gathering evidence. Keep rejecting the old narrative, even when your mind screams it's true. The resistance eventually fades. The new belief becomes more real. Your brain starts finding evidence that supports the new belief. And one day, you realize you believe something completely different about yourself. Not because you convinced yourself, but because you practiced a new belief until it became your reality. A new belief feels like a lie until it becomes your lived experience. That's how this works. That's the process. That's the key. Not intellectual conviction. Behavioral practice. You don't believe your way into new behavior. You behave your way into a new belief. You've begun to reshape your foundational beliefs. But beliefs alone aren't enough. They need to be expressed through daily action. Chapter 7. Rebuilding your daily habits from zero. There's a fundamental difference between improving your habits and rebuilding them from zero. Improvement is adding better things to your existing life. Meditation here. Exercise there. A few books. A side project. You're still the same person doing mostly the same things with a few upgrades. That's improvement. That doesn't create transformation. Rebuilding is different. You're creating a completely new daily architecture that aligns with your new identity. Everything changes. Your morning is different. Your workday is different. Your evening is different. Your weekends are different. You're not improving your life. You're creating a new life. That's the key. That's what creates actual transformation. The person you're becoming doesn't just have a few better habits. They have a completely different daily structure, different priorities, different activities, different relationships, different inputs. You cannot reach a completely new destination by improving your current route. You need a new map entirely. This starts with your morning. Your morning is crucial. It determines your entire day. It sets your identity for the next 24 hours. The older you get, the more you have a morning. You woke up reactively. You checked your phone. You felt the weight of obligations. You started from a place of pressure, stress, and panic. You were running from the moment you woke up. The new you has a morning practice. Before the world makes any demands, before work calls, before obligations press in, you claim yourself. You spend 30 minutes reminding yourself who you're becoming. You visualize the person you're building. You affirm your new beliefs. Not because you believe them yet, but because you're installing them. You move your body. You create momentum. You do something difficult. Something that proves to yourself that you're someone who acts despite discomfort. This morning practice is non-negotiable. It's the foundation for everything else. The older you get, the more you would skip this on days when you're busy. The new you understands that the busier you are, the more essential this practice becomes. You wake up an hour earlier. You protect this time. You guard it fiercely. This is where your identity is born every single day. Then your daytime is different. The older you get, the more you focus on getting through. Surviving. Complying. Following the path of least resistance. The new you focuses on growth. On acting despite fear. On making choices that align with your new identity instead of choices that feel safe. Every action is a referendum on who you're becoming. Every choice either votes for your new identity or pulls you back to the old one. You read. Not entertainment. Real education. Things that challenge your old beliefs. You spend time with people who challenge you to grow. You take actions that scare the old version of you. You speak up even when it's uncomfortable. You try things even when you might fail. Every single action reinforces that you're someone who grows. You're someone who expands. You're someone who's not staying the same. Your evening is different too. You don't just collapse into entertainment. You reflect. You review your day through the lens of your new identity. What did the new you do today? Where did you show up as the person you're becoming? Where did you slip back into the old patterns? Not with judgment, with curiosity, with awareness. This reflection deepens your commitment. It strengthens the neural pathways of your new identity. You design rituals, not habits. Rituals. Habits are automatic. You do them without thinking. Rituals are deliberate. You do them with intention. They're expressions of who you are. Every ritual reinforces your identity. Your morning practice, your reading time, your reflection practice, your exercise, your cold shower. These aren't things you do. They're expressions of who you are. Every habit is a vote for your identity. Every action is loyal to your sense of self. Your current daily structure votes for your old identity every single day. To change, you must stop voting for the old person and start voting for the new one. You must rebuild your entire day around the person you're becoming. You've rebuilt your daily structure, but your environment won't support this new version of you. Chapter 8: The Resistance from Your Environment and Relationships. Here's what nobody tells you about transformation. The world doesn't want you to change. Your environment is built around who you've been. Your relationships were formed with the old version of you. When you start changing, everything around you will resist. Not because people are mean, but because your change threatens the agreements you had with them. Your environment is perfectly constructed to maintain your current identity. Your home is arranged a certain way. It's comfortable. It's familiar. It feels right. But that arrangement supports who you've been, not who you're becoming. Your workplace fits the old version of you. Your job is something you can do. Your role is something the old you is comfortable in. When you start changing, the environment will feel constraining. It will feel small. Your friends know the old version of you. They have expectations of who you are. When you start changing, they'll feel threatened. Not consciously, but deep down, your growth implies they could grow too. Your transformation exposes their stagnation. Your new identity challenges the agreement you had with them, that you would stay the same, that you wouldn't outgrow them. So they'll try to pull you back. They'll make jokes about your new habits. Look at you, Mr. Productive now. They'll suggest you're being unrealistic. That's not like you. You're changing too much. They'll appeal to nostalgia. Remember when you were fun? They'll offer you the comfort of staying the same. Every single time you try to move forward, they'll pull you back toward what's familiar. Your family will do the same thing, but with more power because they raised you. They have invested years in who you are. Your parents have a version of you they're comfortable with. Your siblings have a role you play. Changing that role threatens the whole system. So they'll pressure you to stay the same. They might do it with love. We just want you to be happy. But the message is clear. Don't change. Stay as you are. Some relationships are built on you being small. Your partner's sense of control depends on your not growing. Your friend's sense of superiority depends on you being below them. Your family's sense of identity depends on you playing the role they assigned you. When you try to change, these relationships become turbulent. They'll fight harder. They'll pull harder. Because if you succeed at being someone new, the entire relationship collapses. You have a choice. You can maintain the relationship by staying small, or you can transform and lose the relationship. Some relationships cannot survive your growth. That's not a failure. That's necessary. You don't have to save them all. In fact, you cannot. The relationships built on your smallness will not survive your expansion. That's okay. That's part of the cost of transformation. You cannot transform while remaining in the same environment. You need new spaces, new people, new routines, new information. You need to surround yourself with people who are ahead of you, people who model what you're trying to become. You need to consume content that reinforces your new beliefs. You need to join communities of people committed to growth. You need to find spaces designed to support transformation, not spaces designed to keep you comfortable. This is not being ungrateful for your past. It's being intentional about your future. You are a product of your environment. Change your environment, and you change yourself. You cannot stay in the same room and expect to become a different person. It's neurologically impossible. The environment keeps pulling you back to who you've been. So here's what you must do. You must consciously create distance from people and spaces that support your old identity. Not harshly, but clearly. You're moving. You're changing. You're becoming someone different. Some people will come with you. Some people will fall away. That's how it works. That's the cost. You've begun to separate from your old world. Now you need to understand the moment when transformation becomes real. Chapter 9. The moment you become the new person. There's a moment coming. You won't know exactly when it happens, but you'll feel it. It's the moment when you stop trying to become the new person, and you realize you already are them. This is when transformation becomes real. This is when change stops being work and becomes identity. Before this moment, you're practicing. You're performing. You're trying to act like someone different. It requires effort. It requires consciousness. You have to remind yourself to do the new things. You have to fight against the old impulses. You have to keep telling yourself the new beliefs. It's exhausting. That's normal. That's the construction phase. But then something shifts. You stop trying. You wake up, and you're already the new person. You don't have to remind yourself anymore. Your new habits don't require willpower. They become automatic. You meditate not because you're forcing yourself, but because that's what you do. You read not because you're trying to be someone who reads, but because you're someone who reads. You speak your truth not because you're pushing past fear, but because the fear isn't there anymore. Your new beliefs don't feel like lies anymore. They feel like home. You catch yourself thinking like the new person without having to remind yourself to do so. You make decisions like a new person without having to calculate them. You move through the world with a completely different energy. People respond to it. They treat you differently. Not because they changed, because you changed. This integration phase happens gradually. It's not a sudden switch. It's like water turning to ice. It happens degree by degree. You don't notice it happening. But one day you look back and realize you've completely transformed. You're a different person. Not forced. Not pretending. Actually different at the core level. During this integration phase, you'll have moments where the old identity tries to return. You'll be triggered by something. A criticism from someone. A failure. A setback. And suddenly you're back in the old beliefs. I'm not good enough. I'm fooling myself. This will never work. The old identity rises up and tries to reclaim you. This is normal. This is part of the process. Don't panic. Don't give up. These moments don't mean you failed. They mean you're integrating. When these moments happen, you return to your practice. You return to your morning ritual. You return to your new beliefs. You gather evidence for them again. You refocus on your new daily structure. The old identity will keep showing up, but with less frequency and less power. Each time you choose the new way, you strengthen the new pathway. Each time you refuse the old way, you weaken the old pathway. Then one day, you realize something. You can't go back even if you wanted to. Your old self becomes unrecognizable. The things that used to appeal to you no longer do. The way you used to think feels foreign. The worries that used to consume you seem trivial. The person you used to be seems like a different person entirely. Because they are. You've been completely reconstructed. Your beliefs are different. Your habits are different. Your daily life is different. Your relationships are different. You look in the mirror, and you see someone new. This is when you know the transformation is complete. Not when you reach a goal. Not when you achieve something external. But when you've become someone incapable of returning to the old way. When your new identity is stronger than any pressure to go back. When you're living the new life, not because you're trying but because you are. That moment is coming. If you do the work. If you stay committed. If you refuse to quit. That moment is inevitable. You will wake up one day and realize you're no longer becoming. You already are. You've transformed. Now you need to protect that transformation from degradation. Chapter 10. Protecting your new self from degradation. This is the chapter most people don't want to hear about. This is where the real work begins. You think the hard part is becoming the new person. It's not. The hard part is staying the new person. Because the moment you think you're done, the moment you think you can relax, the old patterns start creeping back in. One day of old habits becomes a week. 1 week becomes a month. Before you know it, you've partially reconstructed the old version. You think the transformation is complete and you can just be the new person without maintaining it. That's not how it works. The moment you stop choosing the new person, the old person returns. This is the maintenance phase, and it's actually harder than the creation phase. Why? Because there's no excitement anymore. The novelty is gone. You're not in the rush of transformation. You're not in the honeymoon phase of becoming someone new. You're just living. Daily. Repetitively. Doing the same things every single day to stay the same person. That requires discipline. The world wants you back. Your old environment wants to reclaim you. Your old friends want the familiar version of you back. Comfort wants to return. Laziness wants to reassert itself. Complacency wants to set in. You'll have moments where you want to go back to the old way because it was easier. The new way requires constant work, constant practice, constant choosing. It never ends. That's the truth. You're tempted to skip your morning practice. You're tired. You have too much to do. Surely one day won't matter. Then you skip 2 days. Then a week. And suddenly you're back in your old patterns. You're sleeping in. You're checking your phone first thing. You're reactive instead of intentional. And the beliefs start returning. The old identity starts reasserting itself. All of the work you did is slipping away. This is why you cannot maintain your new self alone. You need external accountability. Someone who knows who you're committed to becoming. Someone who will call you out when you start reverting. Someone who will remind you of your commitment when the old patterns emerge. Someone who cares more about your growth than your comfort. This could be a coach, a mentor, a friend, an accountability partner, or a community. But it must be someone outside of yourself. Why outside of yourself? Because you will lie to yourself. You will rationalize. You will make exceptions. You'll tell yourself it's just this one time. You'll justify staying the same. Your mind is brilliant at protecting the familiar. So you need someone who sees through the rationalization. Someone who knows your patterns. Someone who won't let you backslide. Someone who will have hard conversations with you. This accountability is not punishment. It's protection. It's someone standing guard at the gate to your new identity and saying, you don't get to go back there. Find this person or group before you need them. Before you're slipping. Build the accountability structure when you're strong so that when you're weak, it's already in place. Have regular check-ins. Be honest about where you're struggling. Let someone else help you stay committed when your own commitment wavers. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. But here's the most important thing. Every single day you wake up as the new person, you're making an active choice. You're not just naturally staying the same anymore. You're choosing who you are. You're choosing your beliefs. You're choosing your habits. You're choosing your values. This choosing is the price of transformation. It never ends. The moment you stop choosing, you revert. But this also means you have more power than you've ever had. As long as you're choosing, you cannot be chosen for. As long as you're deciding, you cannot be overridden. As long as you're awake, you cannot be unconscious. Your new identity is not automatic. It's intentional. It's daily. It's a practice. And that practice is what keeps it alive. Your new self is protected by your daily choice to maintain it. Your commitment to waking up and choosing again. Your willingness to stay uncomfortable because comfort is where the old you lives. Your discipline to keep practicing even when no one is watching. Your refusal to go back even when the past is calling. This is not a destination. This is a way of life. This is what transformation actually costs. Not the initial change. The ongoing commitment to staying changed. Most people won't pay this price. Most people will transform and then slide back because the maintenance phase is harder than the creation phase. But you know what it costs now. You know what it takes. And you can decide whether you're actually committed or whether you were just curious. The choice is yours. The transformation is possible. The person you're becoming is real. But they need your daily commitment to stay alive. That's the key. That's the secret. Not motivation. Not inspiration. Daily choice. Daily practice. Daily commitment to being someone new. Your new life is waiting. Will you maintain it? You came here today knowing something inside you isn't working. Knowing the person you are cannot reach the place you want to go. And you've been hoping for a way to change that doesn't require destroying everything and starting over. But there is no gentler path. Transformation requires destruction. It requires you to consciously demolish the beliefs you've carried. It requires you to dismantle the habits that have defined you. It requires you to step away from the environments and relationships that were built for your smallness. It requires death before rebirth. This is not comfortable. This is not easy. This is the hardest thing you will ever do. But it is also the most powerful. Because the new person you build is built deliberately, with intention, with awareness. You will not drift into your new identity. You will construct it brick by brick. And that means it will be unshakable. The old you has reached its ceiling. That's not a tragedy. That's permission. Permission to become someone new. Permission to burn down the old and build something better. Starting right now. The next time you're about to make a choice, pause. Ask yourself if the old you or the new you is making this decision. Then choose differently. That single choice is your rebellion against your past. Do that today. Do that tomorrow. Do that every day for the rest of your life. And you will become someone unrecognizable. Someone powerful. Someone free. Your transformation begins now. Will you accept it?